On today's video, we are going to be making over 4 items for my back porch. We are going to be using some blues, some transfers, and some brass to make over these ordinary items into gorgeous summer porch decor ideas. The first item is this little trinket dish slash, I think it's a little like a little bird feeder type thing, but it's pretty small. But I had originally painted it white. I think it was painted different colors when I originally purchased it, probably for $1 or $2. I had it in my booth, but it never sold. And every time I walked past it, I thought I really need to give that little bird feeder a makeover. So today is the day, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to give it a terracotta makeover or a color, but I went with my gut, and I love brass, the look of brass. So I decided to give this a brass looking makeover, and I thought it would be good for a summer back porch or a little trinket dish for indoors as well. You could still use it for a little bird feeder if you wanted to. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to give it a coat of black paint. I'm using the color Ash from Fusion Mineral Paint. Fusion Mineral Paint is an all-in-one paint. It's got a built-in sealer, it's self-leveling, and a built-in top coat, so it does not have to be sealed. But I love making things look like brass. This is one of my favorite ways to give thrifted items a high-end makeover. Y'all stick around to the end. Y'all are not going to believe all these different makeovers, and I think you're going to love each and every one of them. So after I gave the back and the top a good coat of paint, I'm going to go over it with DIY's Golden Ticket. This is a gold color, and I'm just going to show you a little technique that you can use. So we're going to paint the back, and then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to paint the top. I'm going to give the bottom 2 coats of the Golden Ticket, and then I'm going to turn it over, and we're only going to give the top coat 1 coat of paint. On this piece, I'm going for more of the brass look, so we're only going to give this piece 1 coat of paint, and then we're going to take a paper towel and we're going to wipe it back so that some of that black shows through. If you were going for a more opaque look or a gold look, you could just give it 2 or 3 coats of paint so it would be a solid gold color. So after we get the first coat on here, I'm now going to take a paper towel and I'm going to just wipe it away so that some of that black is revealed underneath, and then it's going to have an awesome looking brass effect. So here I am, I'm just taking the paper towel. It's a little bit messy, but I'm just going to take the paper towel and I'm just going to wipe it back. This metallic paint dries pretty quickly, so after you wipe it back, it's just leaving a thinner layer of paint, and it'll dry pretty fast. So after it dried, I thought that I'd give it a little bit of patina, so I took out this color. It's called Shipwrecked. It's a colored wax. It's a gorgeous color, a gorgeous turquoise color, and we're just going to go around the edges. We're not going to cover the whole piece, but we're going to go around the edges. We're going to add some of that Shipwrecked color, and then we're going to wipe it away. But here's a little tip. If you choose not to purchase this particular product, you can make your own with some wax, clear wax, and then actually you can put any color that you want to in the wax, and you can get other colors. But if you want a very vibrant, beautiful, perfect patina color, you might want to consider purchasing this Shipwrecked wax. So if you're interested in any of the paints or products that you see in this video today, I'll link them in the description. You can check out my website, and then I'll also put them in the comments below. But you see how this gives it a really natural looking, gorgeous patina. I just love how this looks. You could always take it a little step further and add some black wax if you wanted to, but I really don't think it needs it because the black is already showing through. So you see how fast and easy this makeover was. It's very easy. It looks really high end. It's perfect for your back porch or for a bird feeder. But really, I think it makes a better little trinket dish or just a little decoration for your back porch. The wax probably isn't intended to be outside undercovered. So if you're going to do this look, I would just keep it undercover. If you want it to actually be a bird feeder, I would just do a paint wash with some turquoise paint that has a sealer in it, or you can go ahead and put a sealer on top. If you like how this little bird feeder turned out, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. The next project is this blue stool that I picked up at the Habitat for Humanity for $3. It was already distressed. It had this really pretty blue color on the top, but it was beat up pretty bad and it was filthy. So the first thing I did is I brought it in and I gave it a good clean. I'm using what's called the Prep from Rethunk Junk. It's a really good cleaner. You want to make sure that you're cleaning your pieces really good before you paint them or apply a transfer, so that the paint or the transfer actually sticks to your piece, not to the dirt and grime. So after I cleaned it really good, not only with that spray, I also used a Clorox wipe, and then I came back and I scuff sanded a little bit on the top and the sides, and I cleaned all the sides really good too. So now I'm taking the Saint Germain transfer. This is one of the transfers from Ironorchiddesigns' newest summer release, and I like that top one too, but I asked my daughter and she really liked these two. Her name is Bowen and she's 10, and she had her mind made up that these two were better than that bright yellow one. I probably would have went with the yellow one, but I think she was right about this one. This transfer gives a little bit more understated look. So transfers are really easy. If you've never applied them to a piece, you're just going to peel off that white backing. That top plastic part's going to be a little bit sticky. You're going to place it on your project wherever you desire. And then you're going to take that little stick I'm using and you're just going to rub it onto the transfer and then pull it up and rub it until your transfer applies to your piece. If it doesn't adhere to your piece right off the rip, you're just going to place it back down, rub it a little bit more, and it will come off. Just make sure there's no wax on your piece, because your piece will not stick. Your transfer will not stick if there's any wax on your piece. But it's really simple. They make a really dramatic difference to your piece, and they just add a whole lot. And I think they're just absolutely beautiful. This is a gorgeous transfer set. I still have some of these transfers. They are sold out on the company website, so there's only a few left. So if you want any of these, y'all go ahead and pick them up. I'm now taking some clear wax from Fusion Mineral Paint. If you've never used Fusion Mineral Paint's wax, it is very smooth. It goes on like butter. So you're just going to rub it on and then you're just going to wipe it off. My daughter afterwards felt this seat and she said it's so soft, and it is. It just makes it so soft. So here is the final reveal. That's all I did. I just cleaned it, applied those transfers and the wax. I think I'm going to actually sell this in my store, and I think I could probably get around $40 in my booth. So y'all let me know what you think about this project, and y'all keep watching. Let me know which one of these is your favorite in the comments. The next project is this galvanized bucket that I picked up for probably just a couple dollars, $2, $3. And I had it in my booth. It never sold, but you know, I don't blame anyone for not buying it. To me, it looks a little bit dated and not really anything special. So I thought that I would give it a makeover. So I gave it a good clean, and then I took out the color Prom Queen from DIY Paint. DIY Paint is a clay-based paint, and it does have to be sealed, because if it's not sealed, it can be reactivated with water. So this is another one of those projects that was in my booth for sale, and I kept eyeing it every time I went into my booth. And when it was time, I decided to pull it out of my booth and give it a makeover. And when I saw this, I thought, you know what? I'm going to paint this light blue, and I'm going to put some hydrangeas in it. I thought that would be so pretty. So I'm going to turn this just kind of ordinary bucket that looks like it probably came from, I don't know, Hobby Lobby or maybe even like Dollar General. I don't really know where. And I'm going to give it a high-end makeover. So I gave it 2 coats of this DIY paint. It really only needed 1 coat and then some touch-up. And I am going to then take out some of this bronze metallic color. This is my favorite, one of my favorite colors from Fusion Mineral Paint of the metallic colors. I just love how it looks. And I'm just going to go around and I'm going to paint the little handles in that bronze color to kind of give it a bronzy, brassy, aged look. I probably should have used a little bit smaller brush, but this is the one I have. And y'all, guess what? I ruined this brush. I'm trying to revive it, but last night we got home. We went to the lake for a little bit, and we got home, and I was ready to do some painting, and this horrendous storm came in. I'm in North Georgia, but this horrible storm came in like 5 minutes. It just tore up all kinds of things, and it knocked our electricity out. Well, it was pitch black by this time, and so I had completely forgotten that I'd given a coat of paint on that very first little bird feeder project and left this brush sitting out. And so I was so sad this morning when I woke up, because electricity didn't come on until the middle of the night. So when I woke up this morning, it was hard. But I just need to get another brush this size. I have some other brushes that are similar, but the handle's a whole lot longer. So I'm going to try to see if I can revive this brush, but I think it's a goner. Anyway, so with that being said, I went ahead and painted that bronze and let it dry. And now I'm going to come in with some liming wax. This is Fusion's white wax, but they call it liming wax. And I'm just going to paint it on. Like I said, it paints on like butter. It's compared to the DIY paint, it seems like it paints a lot more smoother than the other one. And but I really love both of them. And speaking of the DIY wax, I have been out of some of them lately, but the company just restocked them, and I put in an order. So I'm going to go ahead and put in all those waxes. I'm going to update them on my website. But if you order any of the DIY waxes, you may have to wait just a little bit to get them, because they should be shipped out this week. So you can go ahead and order them, but just know that they may take just a little bit more time to get them compared to how I normally ship them out. So I'm just adding in this white wax, and I went with a paper towel or got a paper towel, and I wiped off the white wax, but I wanted to wipe off a little bit more, so I pulled out, I think I already have the little wet wipe, and I'm wiping off some of the excess wax. Then I went outside and I grabbed some of these beautiful hydrangeas that I propagated from another plant like 9 years ago from my neighbor's plant, and here is the final result. Y'all let me know what you think about this project. If you're still watching this part of the video, I would love if you leave me a heart emoji or a flower emoji so I know. Okay, y'all, this project, it really gave me a run for my money. I could not decide what to do. So this is a 2-tier tray. I had it outside in my garden, and I like to do experiments sometimes and leave them outside and see what the weather does to these projects. This was kind of another one of these, y'all, I don't know how I find all this brown looking stuff, but I somehow find it. It's at the thrift store in my area. So it had been outside for probably several months, and some of the stuff came off, that coloring, but it didn't do anything really pretty or cool looking. It just kind of turned black. I had to clean it because it was coming off on your finger. So anyway, I decided initially I was going to give this that same prom queen color, and I was going to just paint it, and that's what I was going to do. And I thought that's a really neat color, and I will just paint it this color. And a few days ago, I guess sometime last week, I decided to do a live, and I showed y'all this project because I was just stumped. I couldn't decide what to do with it, and some of you guys told me, oh, it looks like a fruit basket, so why don't you put some fruit on it? And so we talked about I believe it's called the Menagerie transfer set from Fusion Mineral Paint. That's another one of the transfer sets, and we talked about that, and we thought, well, why don't we put someone suggested to put the fruit transfers on there, and I thought, well, that's a really good idea. So after I had given this a couple of coats of paint, I let it dry, of course, and then I thought, I'm going to use that transfer set, and I'm going to add the fruit to this piece. Before you add a transfer, you need to completely seal your piece. So I decided to seal the piece with Big Top. That's one of DIY top coats. You cannot seal it with wax, or your transfer will not adhere to your piece. So after it had dried completely, I started arranging the fruit on this basket. This transfer set has all kinds of fruit, beautiful birds, florals, these branches. It's an absolutely gorgeous transfer set. I think it's the prettiest transfer set I have seen yet. So here I am just arranging the peaches and pears and the branch. It's a little hard to see because of the double layer, but there's grapes and all kinds of things. But y'all, I just wasn't feeling this for some reason. I just didn't like how it looked. I think it just looked so retro, and it's just not really the style I decorate with. And so I just decided I was just going to abort ship, and I was going to give it a brass look because I just love brass, and that look just goes better with my style in my house. And I thought if I painted it that blue color, I might use it in the summer, but I wouldn't use it year round. But I knew I'd use something that looked brass year round. So the first thing I did was I used that golden ticket from DIY, but it was very thin looking on this light blue color. I've painted with it before on hot pink and red, and it looks completely different when you use it on that color versus when you use it on the blue. So then I decided I was just going to change it up, and I'm just going to go back to this bronze color that I absolutely love, and I was just going to give this whole piece a brass look. I don't know why I ever went with that blue look. I always wanted to do it this brass look. So sometimes you just have to change up what you're doing, and it's okay. I mean, I hated that I had to repaint it, but I think you're going to like the end result, and I'm going to use this a whole lot more, and it will go with my decor year round. So, you know, sometimes you just go one way and you just change it up. I still love that transfer set, and I've used it, but I'm going to use it on something else that I will just enjoy it and get more use out of. So after I gave this piece a complete coat of the paint, I decided to take that shipwrecked color out again and just give it a nice patina. I'm sorry guys if you heard my kids are in here just like playing around. I tried to keep them away, but you know how that goes. So anyway, so now I'm just taking that shipwreck color again, and I'm just going to go right there in the creases and just a little bit on the edges. And then afterwards, I'm going to take some black wax, and I'm just going to go over the inside. Fusion mineral paint doesn't require a sealer, but I thought it would just give it a little bit more depth. But I'm actually really pleased with how this piece turned out. I'll get a lot more use out of it. It ended up looking a little bit vintagey when I put that patina color on there, and just the look of it. Before then, I really didn't think it had a vintage look, but I think it ends up looking like that. So I took some fruit that I'd bought earlier this week, and I put it in here. I put it outside, but I think this is a great way to display some fruit. You could even put plants in it, snacks, whatever, but I think it'll be fun for my outdoor decor and also for my year-round decor. So let me know what you think about this. Also, I forgot to mention that I have restocked some of my new transfers from IOD and stamps and things like that. Basically, you would be pre-ordering these items, and then once I get them in from the company, I will ship them out. So they will take a little bit longer than usual. I have the Katharina transfer set, the Wild Bloomin' transfer set, all kinds of new transfer sets that are from past releases that you don't want to miss out on. So y'all go ahead and check that out. And if you're in the mood for more thrift flips, check out one of my past videos. And thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you.